such an honor to be here with the three of you, and I'll straight get to where it started. How did it begin, besides just lying down and watching the stars? I'll go with you, Dr. Annapurni.
Yeah, so I grew up in a remote village where I could see stars. Now it is not even possible to see the sun. So that is the status. But it was possible to the stars in the sky, and I was mesmerized by the nighttime, the brilliant stars in the sky, as well as watching the Milky Way in the morning from my hometown. Yeah.
You really make me feel like going to your hometown, because you're right, we can barely see the sun. But
no,
then what happened?
There also there is a problem. So I must tell you that there's something called power cut. So that has really forced everything to switch off, and we could clearly see the stars.
Well, we're really thankful for those power cuts, because that's why where you are is where you are. Okay, let's just turn back time a little bit with you. You know, your parents were obviously not interested in astrophysics as you turned out to be. What was it like growing up as a young girl in that part of the world, and more importantly, that time of the world, and say, you know what, I'm raising my hand and I'm headed to a laboratory?
Yeah, the thing is, there was like nobody, they were stopping me from doing what I wanted to do. But the thing is that the environment was not conducive. Like, I grew up my parents were musicians. They are Carnatic vocalists. They are trained and old-fashioned and also conservative and very hardliners. So you have to get up in the morning and practice whatever comes. So I have to sing, or I play violin. I have to get up in the morning and practice violin. And that has to be the schedule. And all thing happens in the house is about music. Anything about discussions. Even when my mother sings, I have to take notation what she's singing. So I'm trained to take notations immediately. So thinking about science is completely different. That's what I'm passionate about. So I have to find time and do my science. So the only thing they told me was that if you're passionate about, go for it. There's no problem with it. But there were certain conditions, like I can't go out and study. They stopped me from taking up engineering. So after master's, I said, nothing doing, I'm going out. And then doing it. And I had to convince them.
Yeah. But I love the sound of that. I need time to find science in the middle of music. That's amazing, lovely. And to know that you're a Carnatic violinist, inspirational. Nandini, coming to you, taking India through many missions, like all of you here. This is heavy stuff on the shoulders, but it's all great to talk on this stage today. How did you get onto the stage?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here, and it's wonderful to be amongst this audience. Mine is a slightly different story, actually. My parents are, I come from a very educated family. My mother is a mathematician, and my father is a techno-bureaucrat. And so they studied in the 50s and 60s, and my grandparents got all their sons and daughters educated back then, and well educated. So at home, we were children of working parents, but I believe that children of working parents are brought up differently. They're totally independent, bold, and strong. So that was the positive part of it. And I still remember as an 8-year-old, I would cycle alone to school. I got my car driving license the day I turned 18. And my parents, especially my father, he would analyze and explain to us not just the physics of how things were happening around us, but the kind of environment we had at home. Let's say, let's talk about global politics, world economics, sports. He would distill all the information and present it to us in a very concise way, so that we develop that diverse perspective, So I feel parents are the beacon of inspiration, and I hope to do so for my girls too.
Yeah, indeed. So, Dr. Nigar Shahji, you are called the sunny lady of this country. And you went into college saying that I'm going to do what others don't, right? The choices you made, I don't think there were very many girl students anyway. But tell us about why did you want to pick what others didn't? And what was it?
I don't know. Basically, from the beginning, I'm like that. Since school, I always wanted to do, which is rare, somebody has not done it. So at that point of time, when we were growing up in 70s, 60s, my parents were very particular that we should be financially, their kids should have a good education, and my father is a maths graduate, but chose to be an agriculturist. So he was very particular that we do some science and we should be financially independent. So that's how my journey started. And that's why that maybe I inborn capability, or I don't know. I always like to do what others don't, not commonly done. So at that point of time when I started after 12th standard, it was very less women were doing engineering. So I opted for engineering, though my parents were very much for me to do medicine so that I can have my profession anywhere when I get married, and I can start my profession anywhere in place. But if engineering, then you have to go for a job in faraway place in the country. So that was their attitude. That's what their idea. But I decided I will do engineering, and that too, I wanted to do mechanical engineering. At that point of time, not many women were admitted to mechanical engineering. So I tried hard to be a mechanical engineer, but I was not offered a seat in mechanical engineering because I am woman. So I settled with electronics and communication engineering.
And so you just said that I'm going to just keep very doable goals like taking India to the sun.
No, it's not my goal. Actually, it is the organization goal. I was given a chance to be part of that goal. For that, I'm very grateful to the organization to choose me for that role.
Yeah. But I think in many ways, what you bring to the table is this absolutely feisty energy to see that I am truly going to live up to that point, that I will pick up what others don't.
Yeah, because that was always I tried to do. Here also, it's not. But one way, organization also helped, because in ISRO, there is no glass ceiling, or there is a difference, or the gender parity is there. So if you show that you can do things, they will give an opportunity for you to do. So that's how I got this opportunity, I feel.
In that spirit, I must say we're thankful to ISRO, because the image of ISRO to the world is women. And in so many ways, I think the last many missions and the ones to come in the future will remain so. I want to pick something that you said, Dr. Shahji, and actually bring that out to the panel. All of you at some point or the other talk about your role as a mother, and also the kind of travails it throws up in all our journeys. So maybe I should start with you, Dr. Annapurni. Now, when you think of yourself as somebody who has had to navigate what all women tend to be faced with, maternity, mobility, and of course, your professional career, do you try to seek balance?
Yes and no, both. Because as a person, you need to be happy with yourself, and your aims and objectives are met. But at the same time, you can't be bending to all the requirements which are put forward. So you have to find and convince yourself what you think is achievable and I would like to achieve, and achieve it. And don't cut corners on that. But then identify what you don't want to do, what somebody else is imposing on you, and avoid it. Don't completely say, no, I will not do it. So there has to be some distinction. And second thing is, as someone who wants to do multiple things, you can't do everything every day. So you have to do something some days, and sometimes work overtakes family. Some days family overtakes work. But that happens. But you have to take an average over a large period of time. Having said that, I mean, as a woman who goes through life is a package deal. You have to face things, reality in everyday life. So problems do come, but they change. Yeah. When I'm young, the kind of problems I faced is not the problems I'm facing now. So I have to innovate and kind of strike a balance, saying that, okay, I'm happy with doing both, and try to manage, because family support is important. And family, like, you have young children, and then the children grow up, you have, the parents are older, so things keep changing. You have to take their confidence at all the time, and they support.
We're having this discussion in 2024. Back when you were, at the early start of your career, did you have to face the word compromise a lot? And did you find that you were sometimes alone in that journey because the support system wasn't geared up, or was it?
Support system was not geared up, so it was difficult. I had my parents' support most of the time, so it was not that difficult. But my husband was like, he was always on his job and he's always moving. So it's up to me to manage my health, my children's health, and everything at home, and the work. So that's what I said. Sometimes I will be spending 1 week fully at work, but the next week someone is sick at home. I have to take charge of it. So I have to take a step back and say that, okay, slow down. This week I'll do this. This is what I can. And next week you push back. So I take an average over a month. It works out well, yeah.
Yeah, pushback certainly works. Nandini, what has it been for you? You kept talking about, I wish I could do this for my children. I could sense that there is always that thing that's playing on our minds, right? Our children, our house, and that lovely two-word phrase, multitasker.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and a lot of people ask all of us this question that how do you strike a balance? And I think juggling family and work is walking a tightrope many a times. And sometimes when there's a crisis in the family and there's some extremely important project, it's like running an obstacle race on a tightrope. So, but it's not always so. I mean, things do settle down, and I feel the mantra is the same, what we follow at work. The mantra is teamwork. Teamwork makes dreams work. So, at least in our family, we follow that, and the responsibilities are shared. Everybody pitches in, and you have the responsibility of caregiving and running the household divided. So that way things are simplified, and I think that's one strategy I think most working women should adopt. And like you said, we're all extremely good planners. We just not only plan our missions, we plan our lives. I mean, we think like many days, weeks in advance, even for things that happen at home. And yeah, all said and done, the support system is important. I think women should not shy to take support from their family, society, relatives, whoever it is, because it's definitely not possible to do this alone. And way back when I joined ISRO, there were very few women in the division that I worked, because these missions call for, especially during the launch times, it called for long hours of work. And not many women wanted to actually volunteer to, come to the division itself. But today we see there's so many women who are mission directors, and they, it's irony that what was considered as a domain not suitable for women, today women have earned the tag of being reliable and very, very dependable.
Yes.
So that's how it is.
So let me just poke you a little bit and ask you, did you at some point face this dilemma, and what did you tell yourself? I'm okay if my chapatis are not round, but I'm taking India to the moon. Did you tell yourself that?
I mean, it's there. I mean, almost every day it's the story, right? And you don't have to be perfect in everything that you do at home, or because this eventually, I think what I generally see is we need to change the mindset, right? The mindset of the woman being having the sole responsibility for running the household needs to change. Yeah. So once that changes, I think the rest of the thing will automatically settle down.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees with that. Dr. Shaji, balance to you, it's a myth. Do you think as women, we're just chasing the wrong thing if you're trying to balance?
No, first of all, I don't agree that why everybody should chase their own, whatever their ideas or their goals in life. Everybody, it need not be just for women or men. Everybody need to do, that's what I believe in. So here also, everybody is talking about this work-life balance.
Yeah.
Because I feel so much importance is attached to this work life. We need not think of work-life balance. We can integrate the life along with the work and see at each point of time which is the priority and what you want to do, or like that you can decide and move on. So that way, if you integrate it, you need not see it very isolated way and why to do a balance, and don't have a guilty feeling that I have not balanced it. That's what I practice. So it's integrate at each, because there is no simple model to solve everyone's solution. Everyone has different circumstances and different solutions. So it's different for everyone. So integrate it and prioritize it, and each point of time, you take a proper decision and move along with it.
Yeah. Let me ask you, and I'll go around this time this way. You all talk so much about the work and the kind of dreams that you all have chased. But I never seem to hear that, how did you keep up with this? How did your health keep up with it? Did somebody come and tell you, listen, Nigar Shahji, this is what you need to do to stay healthy and ahead, and how do you manage it? And do you do anything about it? Talk to us about that. Women and women's health is such a forgotten subject.
Yeah, that's health is very important, because in Tamil we say chuvar illama chitra ezhudha mudiyadhu. That's without a wall you cannot draw a picture. That's the common saying in Tamil. So it's very, very important. I keep up my health by, daily I have a half an hour I will allocate for whatever may be the thing, half an hour I allocate for walking and whenever I have a free time on Saturdays, Sundays, I do all the house chores, and I love doing housekeeping. And on free time, if I have time, I love trekking. I go for very often trekking. So that's how I keep my physical health. Mental health, I don't do anything exclusively, but always I try to keep a positive attitude and my spirits high by my hobbies of reading, gardening, etc. That's how I practice.
Dr. Annapurni, when was the last time somebody asked you, are you stressed? How do you deal with it?
Yeah, I think you're completely right. I was just thinking about a few days ago, and then I realized that no one at home asked, how are you managing with your stress levels? Nobody asked that. It's taken for granted that you somehow manage everything and somehow do this and take a wand, whip, swoosh, swash, everything gets done. So that's the general, she's okay. So that's sometimes taken for granted. So I had to blurt it out because, it was high time everybody realized that. But I also have put in a framework at home that I don't make everyone's breakfast. Everybody has to make their own breakfast. If you don't know how to make it, please find out how to make it, or you can go without breakfast. So,
can we give it up a little loudly? I know the men are feeling like I'll keep this weak. Louder.
So the good side of that was my children knew exactly how to survive, and now they are outside the country and they know how to survive now there. That really helped.
Women don't belong to the kitchen. Men also do, because cooking is a life skill.
I'm traveling outside quite a bit. My husband also knows how to make the breakfast for himself and survives. So it's not the problem of, it's just that extra effort and push required for them to do it. And second aspect which has also happened is that my children also know that it's very important to have your physical activity. So if I have two options, do something in the kitchen that I'm stuck in the morning and not able to go for my run, my son would come and say, doesn't matter, you go for your run, I will chip in and I'll finish this. So you have to tell. You have to open your mouth and tell, this is the fact, this is the framework in which you will work, everybody should fall in.
Yeah. It's a bit like when people would say that, how do women ask for promotions and salary hikes? The answer is raise your hand, do the same at home, and ask everybody to pitch in. Nandini, I'm going to twist this question a little bit, connected to health, mental health. Nandini ko gussa kyun aata hai? And what triggers that, and then how do you deal with it?
Yeah. I think you should ask my husband.
Say that loudly.
So, probably my family sees the bad side of Nandini. At the workplace, it's always the good side. So, there's a pressure to, because when you are at the forefront, you need to be at the best behavior at work, because a lot of people are going to emulate you. I feel it's the same at home too. Health is, like you said, is important. And one thing I like to do is have some me time, not just for an exercise, but maybe just to have that cup of coffee. I am a coffee addict, and I probably get up in the morning only to have that cup of coffee. So when you have that me time, I think it allows you to think and plan your day and relax. So everybody has to find their own me time, and that will probably give you, it is part of getting the good health part of it. Like I think all men and women, I'm scared about gaining weight, putting on weight. So we do, that indirectly forces us to keep good health. Yeah.
So that's interesting, because I now run a health startup, and I often talk to women for hours and hours together, and I say, so what is it that's finally bothering you despite your menopause, despite your mental health? She's like, actually a lot of things get sorted if I lose weight. And to hear you say that, Nandini, I'm very curious, why are you obsessing with it? And more importantly, why does it matter to you?
No, because like I said, they're all interconnected, good health and keeping a good personality, and everything is interconnected, and it also reflects on your work and your ability to carry out your day-to-day works. And if you have even a small headache, I'm sure the day won't go the same otherwise. So they're all interconnected, I think. So it's as important as to keep the normal BMI, as to keep one active at work and at home.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to switch weights from weight loss to heavy weights. Those three are heavy weights. We'll talk about the work they're doing. We're taking India to the sun. But what is this mission all about? And more importantly, why does it matter to India today? Dr. Shaji.
You are asking about the mission's importance?
Yes.
Yeah. This Aditya L1 mission is mainly for the two aspects. One is because we live in Earth because of sun. So it's necessary to know more about the sun, that sun process. You might have heard about geomagnetic storms, solar flares, and all those things, and how it impacts our Earth. So it's one part of it. Other part is because compared to yesterday years, we have lot of space assets in space, because ISRO has almost 50 spacecrafts alive in orbit. And so these the solar events like that storm, solar wind and solar flares, that if it becomes intensive, it will affect our space assets which is already in space. So to protect that, now space weather is an important subject which is coming up all over the world. So like Earth weather, how we predict the Earth weather. So space weather also, it's till today it is not very predictable. So the lot of models are being developed, and this mission helps and also keep up with the world going, so that we will also have a better space weather model, so that we can protect our space space assets. So these are the two main aspects behind this mission was conceived, and also to technologically to keep us in par with the world technology in space. Also, this is one of the reason behind why we go for landing on the moon, as well as